Ultralight gaming mouses. This is the EWEADN S9 Pro and the S9 Max. These were sent to me for a review, so let's start talking about them. So if you're wondering what these type of mice are inspired by, or maybe copying directly, is the Viper firm Razer. I don't personally own one of those, so I won't be able to give you my direct feedback on whether or not it feels exactly like a Viper. My go-to mouse as of late has been the DeathAdder V3 Pro. That's what this guy is right here. So I was definitely curious about how these S9s can actually stack up because they are pretty inexpensive. I mean, I wouldn't call them cheap because cheap implies that they're low quality. They feel really good, but they're not expensive in comparison. You can get the S9 Pro right now for, I believe, 50 bucks. And the S9 Max and Ultra, I believe, are like basically 10 bucks more. And what's crazy is these include 8K dongles out of the box. They're not 1K dongles, they're 8K dongles packaged with these mice already. Normally you have to spend the additional money to get the 8K polling dongle for Razer mice, except for the latest V4 on the DeathAdder. I believe that comes with it now. But these come pre-packaged with an 8K dongle if you get the Pro, Max, or the Ultra. If you get the S9, which is even cheaper, like 40 bucks, it only comes with the 1K dongle. My DeathAdder, I've just been using the 1K dongle, so I've been perfectly fine with that. But because I did get an 8K dongle with these mice, I obviously tried out the 8K polling on it. But even though I haven't been able to game, say, months at a time with this mouse, I can definitely report that I haven't had any issues with the software or the implementation. And there was no driver that I had to load up. It automatically finds the S9 Pro and the Max when it's connected to the 8K dongle. I don't know if that's the same with the S9 Basic, you know, the 1K dongle in there. I'm assuming it is. So wirelessly connected, you do get access to their interface. So here's the S9 Pro connected to my computer wirelessly via the 8K dongle. And if I click into here, you see all the nice options that you have for customization. You can go to the DPI, which has response rate and actual DPI. So I currently have the response set at 2K with 1600 DPI, and it feels really good. No problems that I can tell. You know, I'm not a professional gamer, so I'm not going to be able to give you my critique on League of Legends or Counter-Strike or anything like that, but it actually does feel better than the DeathAdder slightly. This is obviously a very nice mouse, so I'm not trying to fix what's not broken, obviously, but I can say that the S9 Pro, this one in particular, feels really, really good. The Max I have a few issues with, and we'll get to that in a bit, but if I was to scoop one of these S9 Pros basically today, because if I was looking for a gaming mouse, this would be an incredible value buy. But to round out this software interface here, obviously it doesn't look crazy interesting or anything like that. It's relatively basic, but in my opinion, that's perfectly fine. I'm not going to be in this menu all the time. It's just set it up once and I'm good to go. You can do macros if you're into that. And then it shows you device operation type of things, operating mode, equipment type, etc., the connection, the device battery. Yeah, various customizations that you can do with it. So decently nice tool that required no driver installation to get up and going. And it connects wirelessly because this is wireless and it's working right now. When I first loaded up, I believe it was in Mandarin though. So you do have to figure out to hit the setup and then go to language settings and hit English if you're an English speaker. So it did not detect native English on this particular software right here. Maybe that's going to change in the future. But yeah, back to the specs of the S9s. I really am impressed with these mice. Now looking at the options, it is a little confusing because you have the S9, the S9 Pro, Max, and then the Ultra. 4 versions of the same mouse. It's like, what am I looking at here? And there's some subtle differences. I mean, between the S9 Basic and then the ones above it, there's a pretty big difference, and that is the 8K polling. So if you just get the basic S9, you're basically opting for 1000 Hertz polling both on wired and in wireless, and you get the 1K dongle. It's kind of the main takeaway. I mean, there is a different switch, the Huano 50M, so I don't know how big of a difference that makes right there, and also a different MCU. So again, hardware is a little bit different. For the sensor, the S9, S9 Pro, and S9 Max all share the same sensor, but the S9 Ultra has a PAW3950. So if you're into those specific details, maybe that's a concern to you. You should look into it. Also, they're all pretty much the same weight. They're apparently 59 grams plus or minus 4G on average, with the Max being about 2 grams lighter, potentially. Again, there's that plus minus, and it is plus or minus 3 grams right there. So you could potentially get a heavy S9 Max and maybe even a light S9 Pro, but you know, it's a difference of a few grams right there. This Pro feels really good in the palm. I have absolutely no complaints about it. And when I pick up the Max in comparison, you can barely tell that it's lighter. Like barely, you know? The main thing about the Max is the coating, and we'll get to that here in a second. But yeah, some other differences. S9 Pro, if you plug it in via wired, then you only get 1000 hertz polling wired with this guy versus the 8K dongle, which gives you 8000 hertz. If you are the type of person that likes to keep your mouse plugged in, then something to consider if you are looking for that 2K, 4K range. I don't know if 8K really makes a difference at this point, but it seems like 2K feels a little bit different when you're gaming. The Max will go up to 8K on wired and wireless. And same thing with the Ultra. So that's something to consider. If you are looking for 8K wired, then S9 Max and S9 Ultra would be the only options for you. All four of these have the same battery. And also all four of them are tri-connectivity, meaning wired, Bluetooth, and 2.4 gigahertz wireless. So the last details about differences between, say, the Pro or the Max, and maybe even the S9, is the coating. So the website specifically calls out surface coating here, and it says that the S9 and the S9 Pro have premium nano ice skin coating. Basically a nice semi-metallic matte finish right here. I like this finish quite a bit. It feels really good. I'm also a big fan of this Death Adder white matte finish. This also just feels really nice to the touch. I don't feel like it gets sticky or gummy or anything like that. I don't have particularly sweaty hands, so I have noticed with the S9 Pro, this flame red particular model feels really good. It does grab a few fingerprints, so if that annoys you, you know, it could be slightly fingerprint magnetish. However, the S9 Max has a metallic anti-slip coating. This is very different. This is almost like a car finish type of thing. I like this color, by the way. It's parrot green. Looks nice. It's very eye-catching. In practice, though, I don't know if I really like the feel of it. Again, this is something that's going to be highly particular to you. So if you're not a fan of matte coating, then you might love this type of mouse. So the metallic anti-slip coating might be perfect for you. In my particular case, it feels a little too grippy, just a bit more oily than I prefer. It's not oily at all. It's got this metallic shiny coating, and you can feel it on the touch, the fingertips and all that. So if that's not something you're looking for, then I believe all of the S9 Maxes have that, because it says surface coating, all S9 Maxes seems to have the anti-slip coating. So if you're not into that, then stay away from this one. I also have a slight defect on this mouse. I didn't bring this up to EWEADN, so they don't know about this. By the way, this is not a big deal. It's just a slight nuisance. One of the side mouse buttons, when I just touch it, it makes noise. It's not actually clicking, but it's making noise when I touch the button, like this. If I touch the other button, it's not doing it. Barely touch the other button, it starts clicking. On this mouse, no issue whatsoever. So it seems like the Flame Red had slightly better build quality for my particular model that I got sent. I have no idea how often any of these are going to have any kind of issues. Personally, when I review things, I like to actually put some serious time with them to see if anything breaks within a month, 2 months, 3 months. I got these mice a couple weeks ago, so there's no way I'd be able to tell you long-term longevity on this type of stuff. You know, for the price, you could technically have like 3 or 4 of these in comparison to one Razer mouse. And a Razer mouse could still have issues. There could still be some sort of problem with these particular mice. But yeah, very nice mouse. I like it quite a bit, and I would highly recommend this, especially if you're looking for a budget option. I will have links below. If you're curious about this stuff, they will be affiliate links. So if you do purchase through those links, it directly supports the channel. If you enjoyed this video, a like and subscribe goes a long way. Thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll see you next time for another one. Peace.